If you are accosted on the street and robbed, do you ask the person robbing you, "Hey, who do you work for? Did somebody put you up to this?" No, you don't. You don't care who put them up to this. You don't care if the person robbing you is working for someone else. All you know is you're being robbed. Money's being stolen from you. And that is what trying to get an apartment in Portugal is like. My name is Howie. This is Positively Portugal. Let's get into it. So I made a whole video about this a few days ago. This is kind of an update video, but before that, we'll just do a little bit of a recap. When I started this process, I wanted Lisbon. It's my favorite city in the world, so that's where I began looking. Then I wanted the Algarve, Portimao specifically. I fell in love with Portimao when I went there. But then I realized, well, it's going to be cheaper for me in terms of an international mover and easier for my cat if I go back to my original plan and go to Lisbon. So a few weeks ago, I really started digging in on the process of getting an apartment in Portugal. And I kind of saw that, well, if you're not in Portugal or maybe like just a European country in general, Lisbon's not happening. These apartments go up and immediately they're taken. So I kind of think you just have to be in Lisbon and working with a realtor and just kind of have an in there. Somebody who's coming from the United States or Canada or Australia, for example, they're not going to have that same kind of success in terms of getting an apartment in Lisbon. Now, once you get to Portugal, if you want to be in Lisbon, then you move to Lisbon. It's not going to be the hardest thing in the world, but for somebody who's crossing an ocean, don't expect Lisbon at this point. And what I had said was, you're not moving to any certain city or part of Portugal. You're moving to Portugal. You have to show a signed lease to the VFS in order to get your residency visa. And in my case, it's less than a month away now. So I've ruled out Lisbon. I'm ruling out the Algarve because this is their high season, the summer. And everything is a seasonal rental that you're finding. If it's not a seasonal rental, it's an obscene price because there's not so much competition in August. So having an early September VFS appointment did not work to my advantage. So now I have to rule out the Algarve. And I'm more open now to other cities, like in the north, for example, whether it be Porto, where I've been to twice, Braga, even Guimarães. I would consider the Silver Coast and Aveiro, maybe even Sintra if I could get a decent price there. I don't think so, but you know, we'll see. And like I said, you don't want to go over your budget because you never know when your country's currency is going to collapse or just take a downturn. So I've been going back and forth with the company that's trying to help me move. And in this video, I'm not going to give their name because I'm having a rotten experience, and it's not because of them. It's because of the situation. It's because of realtors. And believe me, I know I was a realtor in New York City for 2 years before I gave that up. It's because of landlords. It's because of building owners. So this has nothing to do with the company that is helping me move to Portugal. And I'm not going to give their name in this video. It's in previous videos of mine. I just don't want this to look like it's a reflection on them because it isn't. I love the company that I'm working with to get to Portugal, and I could not have gotten as far as I have without them. So yesterday, I get an email from my representative there, and she sends me a listing about an apartment. I'm not going to say the city because, you know, if it ends up working out, I don't want any of you taking it from me. So she sends me an email, and The apartment is pretty good. And best of all, they wanted a December 1st start, which is the date that I intend to move to Portugal. And that was shocking. That was like a 1 in a million thing because, your VFS appointment is 3 months before your move date. So you're paying for at least 3 months up front where that apartment, in all likelihood, is going to be empty. But this one, well, for some reason or another, December 1st, not September 1st. And it sounded pretty good. So I told her, yeah, I'm interested in it. Let's see what we can do. And then I get an email this morning as I wake up. Well, now they want it to be November 1st. And I'm fine with that financially. It's totally okay because here I was convinced that I was going to have to pay for September and October anyway. It's an inconvenience. What I don't like about it is changing terms. That's a no. For 1 day later, it's a whole month earlier. Why is that? Did somebody learn that, okay, I'm not from Portugal or I'm not European, or is it that I'm American? I don't know. I don't care. And again, it's not the money. That's not the issue at all. It's a very fair price. It was 675 euros. So I was annoyed by that, and then I looked at the listing on Remax. And today it said it's a different size from what was listed originally. It's a different price. And now in the listing, there is no start date. But yesterday, it was December. So everything has been changed. Okay, now I'm really annoyed. And I show this to the company that I'm working with. And they're going to find out the final terms for me, what the start date of the lease is, how much it is. Because here's the other thing. Different size, yeah. Different price, yeah. Today it's listed at 600 euros. Yesterday it's 675 euros. I don't know what the hell is going on. I have no idea. Is somebody trying to rob me specifically? Is somebody realizing maybe they didn't list something the way they should have? I don't know. I don't care. The landlord is working with a Remax realtor. Why is there confusion with a worldwide company like Remax? Is this not the most ridiculous thing ever? So I'm waiting now for an email back from my company. And I just go on Idealista now to look for apartments. Today, I see that apartment on Idealista. Not there yesterday. So on Idealista, it's back to 675. And the start date is December 1st. This coming after the company that's helping me move to Portugal is told that, well, now we want it for November. So someone is completely full of crap here. Whether that be the realtor, the landlord, the building owner, somebody trying to get an extra commission out of me, I don't know. But am I supposed to trust this scenario? Unfortunately, we haven't heard back from any other apartment. Or you can't really hear back from an apartment, it's an inanimate object. But I haven't heard back from any other realtor, landlord, or building owner on any other apartment that I've shown interest in. Right now, this is my top option. And I'm completely convinced that I'm being ripped off. So what do I do? This is just the absolute most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen. And at least in the United States, you know when you're being scammed. And I'm pretty sure that there are laws or regulations against the kind of thing that I'm experiencing here with this one Portuguese apartment. But yeah, no, I'm in a time crunch. I have to have a signed lease. It's already in a city that I really did not want to go to. And again, I'm not going to say the city. I just don't want to have anyone watching this video end up taking that apartment from under me. But I'm at a loss for words, and I don't know what direction to turn to now. I did not think getting an apartment would be this difficult. In my last video, I got a comment from a viewer that, something along the lines, well, imagine how hard it is for a Portuguese person. Portuguese people are living in misery. Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. I'm very sympathetic to it. Unfortunately, right now, I'm in a position where I have to take action. And obviously, when I get to Portugal, I'm going to be even more sympathetic to that. Because what's going on is not fair to the Portuguese people. I look at the prices in Lisbon, and yeah, they're fine for me. I may not be able to get an apartment in Lisbon at the moment, but yeah, I can do it. Too many Portuguese people can't. The salaries aren't high enough. There's been inflation. There's been demand. I remember when not many people knew about Portugal. The first time I visited in 2010. And the last time I was in Lisbon before COVID in 2018. Even then, it was so much more affordable than it is now. I get it. It's so unfair to Portuguese people. And I wish that there was a way for me to change that. The other thing that I've learned is that when I started this process, I read a lot of articles and I watched a lot of videos about how you should negotiate the rent. Well, here we are 2.5 years later, because that's how long I've been looking at Portugal and researching this. I started in February of 2022. It's August of 2024 now. So here we are 2.5 years later. And you know what I learned? There's no such thing as negotiation anymore. Maybe if you're there and you're personally touring an apartment and you have a good rapport with whoever's showing it to you, whether it be the realtor or the landlord, maybe then you can negotiate. But for someone who's crossing an ocean, an American like me, a Canadian, an Australian, even a Brazilian, there's no more negotiations. And not only are there no negotiations in terms of the actual rent, there are no negotiations in terms of the terms. Love that grammar. In terms of the terms. All right, you can't negotiate terms either. Almost everything is 2 months rent up front, along with a deposit that equals another 2 months. So it's 4 months down, and it's not negotiable. Because it doesn't need to be negotiable. If you balk at that, especially being in a situation where nobody's physically met you, then you're not going to get the apartment. So the days of negotiations are completely over. Maybe when you're in Portugal and you're looking for your next place. But for the people who are not in Portugal yet, especially for the people who are not in Europe yet, you're trying to do what I'm doing, there's zero negotiations. So this horror story continues. And I'm getting nervous. This has to be completed. It must be wrapped up, or I can't even have my VFS appointment. And I'm sure I will wrap it up, but there's a chance I'm going to end up in a place that I really want nothing to do with. And I'm not even talking about a place that I've never considered or thought about. It could end up being in a place that I want absolutely nothing to do with. And there's nothing I can do about that. That's the risk I have to take. This is what I wanted. This is what I signed up for. Is there a plan B? Well, sure, everyone has a plan B. Plan B is to just stay where you are. The question to ask, is there a plan C? In my case, the answer is no. And the truth of the matter, plan B doesn't work for me either. I want to be in Portugal. I've read many negative things lately online. I've seen a lot of videos. Oh, don't come to Portugal. It's over. It's done with. Don't move here anymore. No, like, this is where I want to be. I want to be in Portugal. I love the country. I love the people. I love the culture. I'm not turning back. I'm going to make this happen. But I'm facing the reality that I'm not going to be very happy with what I end up with in my first Portuguese home. So that's where we are right now, and there will be another video updating this once I have an apartment, I guess, or unless something else bizarre happens. Anyways, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, but really subscribing is the #1 way to help a YouTuber. And I want to thank you all for watching, and I will update you on everything soon. Take care, everyone.